Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Learning CSGO as a CS Veteran, episode number 28. So before I jump into a game here, I'm going to talk about the best way to practice, because it's a question that I get asked quite a bit, and quite often people just jump into a deathmatch and think that's the best thing to do. It's actually not. I'm going to talk about why that is. So the following training I'm going to show you is what I do if I feel very rusty, or if I'm away from Counter-Strike for a week or something like that. If you have time to do this training every single day, you'll notice big improvements within a week easily. So what you want to do is open a game on any map in offline with bots. Open up the console and type in the following: SV cheats 1, MP auto team balance 0, MP underscore limit team 0, and then add some bots onto the enemy team. You also want to make sure that bot underscore zombie is on 1. That means that the enemy team will not run around and shoot you. They will just stand still. What you then want to do is run to anywhere in the map and type in bot underscore place in the console, and that will add a bot standing still into any place that you're looking at. So the first training that I do is called tracing, and what you want to do is just run around corners and pick the bot's head and try and keep your crosshair on it. What this will do is improve your muscle memory and make sure that you understand your sensitivity as well as you can do. What this translates to in game is a better crosshair placement, so when you're going around corners, your crosshair will be exactly where you want it to be. So if you feel that your crosshair placement is pretty poor, I suggest actually doing this every single day for about 10 to 15 minutes. It might be quite boring, but it really does improve. There's also another variation of this which you can do in any game, so in matchmaking, and I do it quite a lot. And it's to say you're sat in spawn on freeze time, just pick somewhere and trace it. So you can see on the screen now I'm tracing the chicken coop. If you're running out of spawn, look at the lamp and just try and trace it. You can come out of here, look at the edge of the window frame and just trace that as you're running. I always do stuff like that in matchmaking and in any game I play, whether it's ESWC. Just basically, I'm in the habit of doing it. It just makes sure that you are actually on point with your aim. Another variation of this is, if you are in freeze time again, is just flick from one of your teammates' head to the other. That will help you practice flicking as well as tracing. And I actually got this technique from a player called Trip, who used to play for Complexity back in 1.6. The next bit of training that you can do is for newer players or older players alike. So the best bit about this training is if you do not know the angles correctly on a map. So if ESWC, for example, have released Fire recently, if you don't know the angles on that map, or you're just not too sure about the angles on a common map like Inferno, you can just run up there, place a bot down, and then go back to where you would be as terrorist and see exactly how much you would have to peek around the corner to see that bot. This will help with situations like this. So what you don't want to do is be peeking so you are not peeking far enough around the corner and they'll be able to see your arm and get the shot on you before you can see them. You want to be able to practice it enough so you know exactly how much you'll have to peek around the corner to see that person. So if someone's playing here on CT, for example, you wouldn't want to be in a position where you can actually peek perfectly and see them faster. If you don't peek enough around the corner like that, they'll see you first, they'll see your shoulder, and they'll get the shot on you first. The last bit of training is just practicing your flicking. So open up a map such as aim bots here on the screen and practice something. So this can be just flicking from one bot to the other. I like to do this with a deagle just because it means that you have to also practice the deagle's accuracy, because quite often with a deagle, for example, you'll have people who don't know how to use it correctly. They won't know how long you have to wait before it's accurate again. So if you can just pick a gun and then just go onto this map and just do about 10 to 15 minutes of flicking, this will help your aim dramatically. So the last bit I want to talk about is what I mentioned at the start of the video, is deathmatch. And this quite often is not the best way to practice, because quite often you'll join a match like this and you'll just get killed instantly by people basically just being in the server, because the server is too full and it's not the best way to practice. The situations you find in deathmatch are not the same ones that you find in the game. I find a lot of people in deathmatch will just spray and do nothing but spray, and that's not good practice, because in game, if you just start spraying madly, you're not going to do as well as you would do if you practice a different method. So if you do go into deathmatch, what I like to do is just practicing tapping only. There's nothing wrong with deathmatch as a way to practice, but you have to make sure that you are doing it the right way. So don't go into deathmatch and do something that's pointless, like constantly spraying and taking too much care about your kill to death ratio. Go in there, don't care about your kill to death ratio, and just practice one thing, whether it's the deagle with 1 bullet, or just tapping with the AK, or just, you know, flicking around and trying to get used to your sensitivity. Okay. So jumping into the game of matchmaking now, I'm going to talk briefly about why I haven't made a video in this series for 3 weeks, and the reason for that is about 2.5 weeks ago I played 4 games of matchmaking in a row one night by myself, solo queue, and in every single game at least one person, mostly 2 people at least, in the opposite team were cheating. And I'm not someone that calls people out for cheating for no reason, but they were pretty blatant to the point where I checked 2 days later, and at least one person on the opposite team in every single game had been back banned or Overwatch banned just 2 days later. So as someone who works full time and doesn't get all the time in the world to play Counter-Strike like I wish I did, it's annoying. Basically, why would I want to do that when I can play with my friends on ESCA and have a much better experience? So this is the first game of matchmaking that I played in the last couple of weeks, solo queue of course. What you can see here is we are in a 3v5 situation now, the 5 people being on our side. The bomb is down, so what my goal is here is to not let them in the window. So I'm playing very annoying, I'm making them think that I could push out at any point. So that's why I was just jumping around, making it very awkward for them to kill me, and it's basically wasting time. I didn't want them to run through the door and the window at once, and for us to get killed, so I was just making them think that at any point I could push out a window, and making them play a bit defensively and waste time. The second and third round, the anti-eco rounds, were pretty uneventful. I basically just held B with a Galil, tried to get any kills on people pushing, and just tried to call numbers. So on the first gun round here, other than the pistol round, probably the most important round of the game. So what we were doing is just waiting around trying to get picks, and then we ended up hitting A. So you can see there's someone in A site or A ramp here. I know he's around that area, but I'm not too sure if he's A ramp or A site. But I do manage to get the spray down with the Galil. That's one reason that I do buy Galil. People asked me this in my stream the other day, is why do I buy Galil on the anti-eco rounds rather than SMG? The reason for that is you never know when people will just force buy armor, and the Galil is pretty good against armor. And also if you do end up surviving the second and third rounds, it means that you can still use a Galil in the gun round and not be at such a disadvantage to people with rifles. So I did end up getting picked by an AWP at short, leaving this guy in a 1v1 situation. What he does do is plant the bomb on the A box and goes long with his AWP. Nothing wrong with that at all. What he does do is hears him going long a bit too late. I'm not too sure if he has poor sound or something, and he misses his shot there. The CT then smokes him, and the guy picks up a M4. Which is a fair decision, you know, nothing wrong with that at all. He does lose the aim battle though, and we are now 3-1 up. So this, in terms of a matchmaking game, is an example of a team who talks a lot, communicates well and plays together. That's our team against a team who, based on what they say in a few rounds, are barely communicating at all. And you can see it's very one-sided because of that. So no one on our team plays mad and gets a ton of frags. Everyone is pretty even on the scoreboard. Because of that, there's not a lot of personal highlights I can show. So what I'm going to try and do is go over my thinking of the game and what we're doing as a team. Obviously, it is solo queue, and everyone else, I believe, was solo queue. I think there might be 2 people playing together and 3 solo queuers. But you can see, so what we're doing here is working long. You can see my teammates get the kill on the guy in smoke and the entries into the guy in A. And there's a lot of rounds like this where people are just getting 1 kill each. So as I say, because I'm not getting mad frags this game, I'm going to go over what I was trying to do in the game. So they are doing a B fast. So what I said I'll do with the AWP is spot mid, say how many people are there. You can see me talking in the bottom left, say how many people I spotted crossing. I am also very good at hitting people at mid. You can see I get an assist there on the guy who I hit going through the door. That's one thing I often get on Dust 2 is a lot of assists. So I get that kill there. I'm obviously the only person watching tunnels here, so I need to worry about lower B and also T-spawn. So I think that someone might be coming T-spawn, check it on the off chance, and there is one there, and I bag him. Next round is a pretty similar story. They have started smoking out mid because I've been hitting people most rounds. So what I'm trying to do here, because we are just going for control of the map, is I couldn't spot mid, so I went long to see if they were pushing at all. Obviously they'd smoked that as well, so I called it on the microphone that they might be pushing long, and basically took a shot at the smoke, naded it so they think that someone might still be there watching it, and just started working towards short.
So they got ops now. I try to pick long.
I can flash for you. You want to flash or?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
So you can see my teammate correctly had the assumption that they would buy AWPs because of the money system. So obviously we are at the stage 6-1 up. They've lost quite a few rounds in a row, so they have the money boost. They ecoed last round. They're obviously going to be full buy this round. So because my teammate has called that he's going to pick long, what I decided to do is just try and get a pick on B. They have smoked it obviously, so the reason that I usually nade places and flash places when I'm not going to go there is just to make sure that they don't push behind me. Because the chances are if they see loads of flashes coming over, they'll think people are in B tunnels and they won't push behind us. So we are at mid here. I do spot towards the middle area, manage to pick off their AWP, and from there we just carry on getting the picks and take the round from there. So you can see in the chat, this is where they start saying that it's a zero communication team and that they barely said a word all game. And, you know, I can sympathise. I've been in plenty of matchmaking games where people just don't talk and communicate, and it makes the game so much harder. So it's a good example is, even if you have the worst mic in the world or you're shy, just at the very least when you die, just get into the habit of as soon as you die, press your microphone button and say 2B. It's one thing I always do. If I die, I will not moan on the microphone in game. I will just press the microphone button and call exactly what I saw. If I'm playing B, back platform, and I get killed by 2 guys in tunnel and they are holding, the first thing I'll do when I die is hold on the microphone and say 2 B tunnels, they are not pushing, and I'll call whatever I see in the death cam. It's not hard and it makes a huge difference. So the reason I showed most of that round just then is because I want to talk about what I do on a hold strategy. So for example, that round, or what we're doing for most of these rounds, is holding basically the map and then trying to work a bomb site based on picks. So because a lot of people are playing towards A, all I'm doing is going B tunnels, trying to get a pick. If I can't, I'm throwing nades at B to make sure that they think that someone's inside B tunnels so they don't start pushing behind us and flank us very quickly. It just makes them stay in the bomb site and not rotate too quickly to A. It's one of the little things that you won't even notice people do because it's not like in your face getting frags, but it's one thing that will make a big difference to the game and largely goes unnoticed. I'm going to also talk about this round here. So you can see in the bottom left I'm talking constantly because I'm opening mid and I saw no one cross for a long time, and you can see on the minimap in the top left that blue has actually run into B because I had a good spawn for mid and I said no one's crossed at all, no one's crossed, and then as soon as I saw someone cross I let him know that someone had now crossed. Because of that he was able to run into B without any resistance, get into B, so we can just also go into B, back him up, nade CT spawn, and from there it's a very easy round. So little things like that, if you have an AWP, it's just spot how many people crossed and say on the microphone that no one's crossed yet, and that way you can get into B easily if your teammate listens to you, and it's an easy round.
Oh, fuck my god.
So skipping forward a few rounds, we are 12-1 up at this stage, and we're still just doing this slow sort of picking strategy because it's working very well. We're just out aiming people. So what I do again in these rounds is look at the minimap, see where people are going and just go where they're not. Don't play it too aggressively. Like I did push out with the OP and get the kill in pit because I had a good spawn and I knew no one would be there so quickly, and if there would be, they'd be, you know, in the pit. They couldn't really be anywhere else without me hearing them, so I came out along, got the pit there. They decided to then go B, and you know, just simple rounds like that. So if you are just playing a slow pick strategy, just make sure there's no one in the minimap that's not uncovered, and if you are watching an area like B, just make sure that the CTs won't be tempted to push through. So just smoke, use your nades, use your flashes, and just hold them in that bomb site for as long as possible. So again, just to reiterate, on the slow rounds where we are winning, I'm just playing slow, sometimes going B if it's not covered, just trying to make sure they know I'm there, so spamming a bit, nading a bit, making sure they're not going to push behind us fast, and then going to low B, regrouping with my teammates and hitting A or hitting mid, whatever we decide to do.
I can take long.
So CT pistol round now, we won the first half 14-1. What I'm doing is playing B. I see the minimap and see that I'm playing it pretty much by myself. So what my goal is to just get a call and stay alive. So I try to get to the back of platform, spot them coming B, let them know on the microphone that they're coming. I managed to get one pick there, but I do take a while getting this second pick. My aim was a little bit off, but I do get him eventually. So they're still in the B bomb site. I've got a 3 kill here, but I'm actually out of ammo. So I'm letting them know on the microphone where he is. And there's not much I can really do to help my teammate. I was trying to just bob up and down so he'd shoot at me rather than my teammates, but he actually started shooting my teammates. But it doesn't matter anyway, we won the round. I got on okay, 3 kill, a bit sloppy, but we're in a 15-1 lead.
Smoke B. Nothing in yet.
So you can hear, even though we are 15-1 up, the communication is still good, people are still calling what they see, and we go on to win the round easily against a terrorist team who can barely buy, and the score is 16-1, so very comfortable in our favour, and a pretty nice start back to matchmaking. So we won the game at 16-1, very straightforward. You can see I even won a very sweet Tech 9 as well.
A Tech 9. Sweet.
So that's the end of the video. Please let me know in the comment section below any feedback. I love to read the feedback, and let me know if you enjoyed the part before the actual game about the training schedule. It's something I can do in the future, maybe just like a minute before the game starts. I'll talk about different subjects, or would you prefer me to get straight into the game? Let me know that below, and thanks a lot for watching, guys.
He's got that in 4. Does he not see him? Does he? He's allowing them not to know that he's there. As it is, he's gonna go. We're gonna look.
Oh my God!
Spawn
Oh
plays it
my
smart.
God!
He's gonna be able to sneak right in there. He's working his way in there.